Welcome to the Movie Draft Podcast. I'm Ethan Simi, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Ben Lawhorn.
Hello.
And can I mess it up again, Sophie? Can I do 2 weeks in a row? Of course, Sophie Holsinger.
He's nervous to have me here.
I am.
The presence of greatness.
More importantly, I'm nervous to talk about Timothée Chalamet and all of the things associated with him. Today, we are drafting the films and possibly other things of Timothée Chalamet in a collaborative style draft. Sophie, say it ain't so. 2 weeks in a row. You nailed it on the head, though. I'm pretty nervous. I am quite honestly nervous that you and I are sharing the same space right now. And for whatever conversation is about to unfold over the next 90 minutes. But it's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here. I was on the phone with number one fan of the pod, my mother, earlier, and she was like accusing me of forcing you guys at gunpoint to do this podcast because she knows of my love for Mr. Timothée Chalamet. So
it's fair. It's actually true. So just to let everybody know out there, yeah, it came down to some dire circumstances for us to do the Chalamet collab draft here. I do, while we're on the topic of Mama Sophie, I do just want to give a shout out. I think she has kind of identified and honed in on my drafting tactic. And I just wanted to sidebar for a very quick second. She DM'd us on Instagram, just a lovely message to get always from her. And she, like I said, she honed in. She said the phases of Ethan: procrastination, confidence, and immediate regret. Ben, in the chat, you deemed it the PCI approach. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been outed, quite honestly. I feel like I have been found out. And that is exactly what I do. It's exactly what happens.
She described it so succinctly. Like, you couldn't say it any better. It's like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Exactly what it is. Like, It was perfect. It was a wonderful first pick you did too on that draft.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That really means a lot. I appreciate that. She also included, the smiley emoji with the hand over the mouth. So she knew what she was doing. Shout out Mama Sophie. Love that you support the pod. Thanks so much. So pleasure to have you in the DMs. Ben, what's up? How are you? How are things?
Good. I'm not as excited as Sophie to talk about Timothée Chalamet. I did put in our group chat that I think this version for the MCU to Sophie is what Timothée Chalamet is to me. I'm just like, sure. I don't know. I didn't even know he was in 11 Things, I'm like, all right, cool. So this draft is going to be interesting.
Speaking of the MCU, I do just want to say today that we are recording. They took 18 hours to reveal a partial cast for Avengers Doomsday. And I just want to say, fuck off, MCU. That was dumb. I thought that was rather stupid.
Yeah.
What do you mean partial? Is there more?
They've already found themselves on Instagram with Robert Downey Jr. posting a photo being like, wow, quite the lineup. And Marvel Studios commenting, there's always room for more, ... It's like, guys, It lasted 16 hours. What do you mean there's room for more?
What is this movie going to be?
So maybe we should do a draft like that. Every 15 minutes we make a pick and then we get a 9-hour draft. That could be fun.
Yeah.
It's just silence in between.
Exactly. We actually cut the video. It's just black. There's nothing going on except for the 7 seconds where you make a draft pick. The MCU has set the precedent here. So we are talking about someone who has in fact not been in the MCU, a man who was instructed not to be in superhero movies. That is the great Timothée Chalamet. And I have a lot of thoughts swirling in my head about where we should start this conversation, how this draft is going to go, what we need to accomplish, and honestly, the mystery ingredient that we have not yet revealed for what will make this draft super duper special. But I feel like the only proper place to start is with Sophie. SAG Award speech happens. We all immediately texted each other, are we doing a Chalamet draft? And of course, kind of, Sophie, you did spearhead this and make sure that it got done. What does Chalamet mean to you with your connection to Timothée Chalamet? Is he a good actor? Give us the down low,
Yeah. So, where to begin? When Timothée Chalamet was on the rise, I was like, yeah, sure. He seems cool. I'm excited about his career, whatever. I never was completely in on him. I saw Lady Bird and I saw Little Women. And I didn't totally get like I understood him as a perfectly good actor, but in terms of like
Mhm.
girl culture, I was like, this is just another kid from New York who went to LaGuardia High School. Like, I don't really get it. But then I saw Wonka. And I'm
Oh
not
my
kidding. It
fucking
changed
god.
everything for me because I listen, that's like not even a joke. Like truly it was Wonka that changed things for me because I was like, "Oh, this guy can do different things." Like he's willing to work with Paul King and do something so silly where like I wouldn't say he was like self-serious at all, but like I don't know, I just didn't know him as someone who could do something so weird and so unexpected. And now I'm truly fully in on him. I think also Dune Part 2 helped a lot because I think not to, show my cards too much, but I think that was a performance that just like really was captivating to me.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, now I really am totally in on him and I think the SAG speech really topped it off of like this guy cares about the work, he cares about the industry. He's not just someone who the girls fawn over. Like he isn't a capital A actor. So, yeah,
Mhm.
that's where I am.
That's cool, power of Wonka, I guess. I didn't know Wonka could change lives. I didn't know it
Yeah.
could change out like viewpoints of the world. But I guess
Mhm.
here we are, a movie that is in theory less than 2 years old, so that's interesting.
Mm.
I have things to say about Timothée Chalamet, but Ben, I want you to go first. What does Chalamet to you? You said this is your, what the MCU draft was to Sophie, Chalamet is to you. So I am curious, what energy you're bringing in about your relationship with him.
I mean, I think he's a good actor. I have enjoyed a lot of the stuff he's been in. I am curious about his, like you said, we brought up that I want to be one of the greats, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It does kind of give me Bradley Cooper energy a little bit. Just
Fucking
wants to be
Stray. What
good.
the hell?
Whoa.
What's wrong
Does
with
it
wanting to
not?
be great?
There's,
What
I
is
didn't say
wrong
there's
with
anything
wanting to be
wrong with
great?
it. No, there's nothing wrong with it.
That's such a rude connotation to be like, oh, it gives off Bradley Cooper energy. Everybody knows what that means.
But what I was gonna say is it doesn't bother me like it does with Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
Like when he says that, I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, okay, I get it. Like that makes sense. Maybe it's an
Mhm.
age thing. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I think he's taken on some fun projects. Kind of been, I guess, in a franchise thing, but for the most part, stayed away from them, which I think is kind of cool. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think I'm as particular about like where I want things to be on this list. I'm just curious about what's going to end up there. Like, um, there's some stuff I don't know. I didn't get around to everything. He's got some smaller parts in these movies, but there's a few where he's like the lead and he really takes the reins and does a great job. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about, I think.
Mm-hmm. God, first Wonka and now Bradley Cooper Strays, and now you guys expect me to get on my podium and talk about
Yeah, you can do it.
my attachment to this guy. So yeah, I have been quite like infamously out on Chalamet for quite a
course.
while. Not to say that I don't like him. Did I cut out, guys?
Yep, you did. Right when you started, it was like and then it froze. So you might want to start again.
Maybe I hit the pause button. I hit the freeze button. I was just trying to keep you guys on your
Nice.
toes.
Mhm.
So I've been infamously like out on Chalamet as an actor, pretty publicly. Not to say that I like actively dislike him. I just didn't understand the appeal. Sophie, like you mentioned, like it took Wonka to basically like tilt you over and be like, I get it now. So I have been like, yeah, Timothée Chalamet. Okay, cool. Admittedly, going into this draft, going into this pod, I had not seen Call Me by Your Name. I had not seen Little Women. I had not seen like the big Chalamet movies. So I had that kind of going against me. SAG speech comes along last year, or I guess beginning of the year. And I texted you guys and I was like, I think I'm in on Chalamet now. I think I get it. And his speech of going up there being like, I get that people don't talk like this, but I want to be one of the greats. I want to be up there with Viola Davis and Daniel Day-Lewis. And I was like, this kid fucking gets it. Like, this is awesome. So
Mhm.
in real time, over the course of 3 minutes, I went from being like, I don't really understand what we're doing to, I think I'm on the train and like we're leaving the station. So watching movies for this draft, I had a new appreciation for Chalamet. I think he's very good at what he does. I think he is, I wouldn't say a full-fledged Swiss Army knife. He does have his specialties, but I do think, to what you said, Sophie, we've got the Wonkas, we've got the Don't Look Ups, we've got some weird parts, and we also have, Little Women, Bones and All, and then we've got to complete a note. Like he is slowly and gradually displaying all of his tools. And I'm sure that we'll get into this a little bit more about what he can and cannot do, the things he has been in, and what he refuses to be in. So I'm excited for this draft, and I think it's going to be pretty fun. Kind of like Ben, I was like, how are we going to fill 11? And so with that idea in mind, we did decide to have a special addition to this draft. Should we discuss this now and then go over rules and then draft, or do we want to save this for like right before the draft?
I think it's a good time to bring it up, let people know what
we're
working with here.
Okay. Give the people some thinking time as well as us. So I mentioned we do have one very special thing for this draft, and that is that we have decided to kind of take a left-hand turn away from 11 films and a straight filmography collaborative draft to including a single pop culture moment. Now, Timothée Chalamet felt like the appropriate person to do this with. Of course, we have cited the SAG speech here on many occasions. I would say the press run of not only Dune Part 2, but also Dune, A Complete Unknown. The things that he is doing are noteworthy. And, the girly culture out there stands for Chalamet. And so we wanted to respect that, and we wanted to include that. Now, the interesting thing here is that there will only be one pop culture moment. Single. We don't get one apiece. We all have to agree, and we have to figure out where it goes on the board. I am extremely nervous, yet excited to see when and where this happens. This might be a good time to talk rules, because we didn't really discuss this. And just hear me out here, if we get all the way up the board and a pop culture moment does not fall, we're safe, right? Like, we don't have to play a pop culture moment. We could play 11 films.
Sure, we could.
Okay. I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating for that.
I don't even think that'll happen based on how much we've seen, and kind of, to me, it's obvious which ones like shouldn't make this list. So there's definitely room for that pop culture moment, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think we'll fit it in there. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I do think it's going to take, at least on my end, some true collaboration. I would say I'm definitely not as attuned to these pop culture moments as Sophie might be. Ben, I don't know. I don't know what you have up your sleeve, so we shall see. Did you guys watch anything, rewatch anything for this draft? I think now is an important time to discuss this.
I did not. I did no rewatching and no prep.
Nothing.
Nope.
Dang.
Oh,
Chalamet head has a locked in.
Yeah, Chalamet head from the get-go. Holy cow.
I watched 2 new things and rewatched something. So, and I think I actually letterboxed them, so you guys probably know what they are.
Wait, I wasn't paying attention.
What?
I think I did.
We've broken tradition?
Yeah, I was bored the other night, and I was like, I have time to do this.
Wow.
Interesting.
How thrilling. Oh,
Yeah.
This is interesting.
You guys can do a little research. Riveting stuff for the listeners. So I guess they can watch us do this now too.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Okay. Obviously in sticking with the idea of the draft, I kind of want to talk about movies when we get there. I will just say, Ben, since we're talking about your Letterboxd, you did Letterboxd The King. I could have, without seeing that review, I could have told you that was your review. When I watched The King, I was like, David Michaud directed this. Ben's got to be one happy guy. So, Ben's on board. Exciting stuff. I'm really fascinated to see where we all land on this. I watched several new things going into this draft. I watched 1, 2, 3, 4 new movies, and I rewatched.
Wow.
I fucking prepared.
That's awesome.
I didn't want to let you down, Sophie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did text you guys that I did watch The King like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I guess that was prep, but it wasn't. I honestly just like that was a movie that had been on my list forever. Like it having Timothée Chalamet and Robert Pattinson. I was like, those are two of my guys. Like I got to check this off my list. So that was some prep, I suppose.
I'm not thrilled with your star rating on The King, but I guess maybe we'll get to that conversation when we get there. Hopefully. I don't want to reveal my cards too much. Okay, so we all did varying degrees of preparation for this. Of course, the question does need to be asked here. Do we represent the interests of the people? Do we represent the interests of us and the podcast? Because I feel like an episode that has not been debuted yet, but I will give a little bit of a preface, a forthcoming episode, I believe next week's episode, we made a pretty, I would say, unique list for the ideas of the podcast. Not necessarily what you might see otherwise for that specific topic. So it could swing either way.
Yeah. I'm curious, and it also brings up the age-old question of like, are we rating his movies or his performances?
His performances.
Like, yeah, that's what I was confused about, honestly.
Good time to ask right now before we draft.
Good
clarify
time,
what we're trying to do,
exactly.
what we're trying to accomplish.
That makes it more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I never have an answer, and honestly, it varies as I go. Like for me personally, I think it does for us as a group. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, but then I go back. Like, let's use The King as an example again. Like, are we ranking the movie or are we ranking his performance? Because I will say, as a little bit of like a moose boosh, like this is the Dune prophecy right here. Like not Dune prophecy, but like this is the prophecy to Dune of like seeing Chalamet do a role like this and being like, oh, of course he can do Dune. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's how I took it. The movie, on the other hand, a different movie than the performance he offers in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
okay.
Totally
Good.
fair.
Yeah, we're all aligned. That made sense. Good.
We're on board.
Clear as peanut butter. All right. Anything else to talk about, hash out before we draft? Sophie, I feel like you're holding out on me. I mean, you're the Chalamet head here. You're saving it for the draft?
I mean, I think I'm starting to get a little bit nervous.
Why?
Nice.
About what you guys are gonna want on this. And I'm a particular girl. Also, this is my wheelhouse, so I feel like I deserve what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see.
Yeah. So I think that's 2 episodes in a row now in which you have threatened if you do not get your way, you will not reappear on the show. So
I'm not on the calendar after this, so I can say that way.
Okay, well, not of my fault. Let me just put that out there. I'm doing my work here on the back end.
You are.
Yeah. I'm a little bit more, a little more wiggle room on this draft. I'm a little less concerned about specific movies.
Okay.
Now, listeners of this draft, I will just say quickly before we proceed and get into the actual draft here. Listeners of the show, followers of mine on Letterboxd and social media, may have noted that this draft holds a certain precedence in a reimagining of historical texts here. And I feel like this is a conversation we'll have to have when we get there. But just to note, there's a lot on the line here about my forward-facing personality that I am having to come to grips with in real time. Mm-hmm. So stick around. If you're thinking about leaving, stick around.
Stick around. Watch closely.
Yeah.
Watch the space.
Watch the space.
Hold space for what's happening here.
Hold space for this pod. Laszlo Toth will return. Okay, let's do it. Let's draft. Let's do this. So let's quickly go over the rules. Collaborative draft. Whether the strategy is to go for the win, get the things that you want on the board in a particular order, or to work together, as we so infamously do not do. There will be one team standing at the end of this, a collaborative board, essentially ranking the 11 best, or shall I say 10 best, or most important, Timothée Chalamet movies, and one single Timothée Chalamet pop culture moment. Anything is eligible, but only one will be on the board. So we will see how that goes. As always with collaborative drafts, special shout out to Screen Drafts, the podcast that has influenced this draft layout, and incredible stuff over there. Ben, would you do me the favors explaining the picks, the abilities, and get the spinner prepared?
Indeed, we have an 11 movie 3-person draft ahead of us. Drafter A will be getting picks 1, 4, and 7. Drafter B will get picks 2, 5, 8, and 9. And Drafter C will get picks 3, 6, 10, and 11. Everybody here will have a veto to start with. Drafter A, since they have the fewest amount of picks, will get an extra veto. And Drafter C will have a veto override where they can save someone else's pick. They can't use it to protect their own, but they can use it on someone else's veto. And I am very curious to see what we end up with here.
Sophie, do you want a particular drafting spot?
I do.
Ooh.
Ben, how about you?
No, I'm ready for whatever.
Okay. There is one that I want, and there's one that I don't want. So, yeah, let's see what happens. See how it goes. Okay, we're going last names on the spinner. This is big. Video spinner. People now know for 64 episodes I've been describing the spinner. And here we go. I guess last week you could have seen it as well. Last week it was the unofficial soft boot of the video, but we're on YouTube now and you can watch us. So watch us over there. Oh boy. Oh.
She's gonna get her way.
Nice.
Wow. Rigged. Tracy Letts style. Rigged. That's crazy. Come on.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Sophie, what do you want to be? Drafter A, B, or C?
I would like to be drafter C, please.
Interesting. Are you... That strikes me as a position of weakness. I just want to put that out there. Strikes me as a position of worry.
Interesting.
Nah.
Okay. She's locked in. I'm going to take Drafter A just because it's the least amount of movies that I have to talk about and it gives me the most vetoes. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, you get both of the things that you want.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to be taking Drafter B, then it seems. So B was the only one that I was indifferent on. So I guess I will take that. That doesn't really matter too much. Okay, let me fill out the draft board here. Ben, you're going to be Drafter A. You're going to get spots 1, 4, 7, and 2 vetoes. I'm going to be Drafter B. I've got 2, 5, 8, and 9 in a single veto. Sophie, you're going to get 3, 6, 10, 11. You're going to get the veto and the single veto override. Can I ask you one more question before we begin?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the veto override? Do you plan to use that? It seems like you might be up to some dirty business.
I don't know. I mean, I said I was nervous, so that just helps me just in case something goes awry, you know?
Nice. I like it. It's always good to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Keep things going Sophie's way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's start off this board with 4 picks from Sophie and I. This is going to be thrilling. So let's partake in the Timothée Chalamet collaborative draft here. God, I'm curious what's going to happen. Sophie, you got pick 11.
I have pick 11. And because we've already mentioned this movie and I do agree that it belongs on the board, I'm going to put The King at number 11. Oh, that's okay with you.
Okay. Oh, look at the video. What's going on?
Thumbs up.
That's crazy. Fireworks in the recording shed. It's not, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Discuss.
So I watched The King recently and I was very underwhelmed. Like I don't know. I think the performances are the standout. And so if we're talking about Timothée Chalamet performances, I do think you make a great point of like him in this leading role, like giving these speeches and, you know, in front of his army and whatever. Like, yeah, it feels like a prophecy for Dune. And it feels like, oh, wow, this guy is capable of leading a movie, even though the movie itself may not be a success in my eyes. So if we're talking about performances, I think he's great. I think the movie as a whole is just kind of whatever. But if I was nervous that it would be higher, and I don't want it any higher. So 11 is where I would like it.
You don't want it any higher.
Yep.
So just to be clear, you think he's fantastic in this, and
but you're putting it at 11.
He's fantastic in a lot of things.
Yeah, just so we're crystal clear on that. I'm glad that we're clearing things up as we draft.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's really good in this. I think he's great in this. I think this movie, it worked for me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I would have this a lot higher personally. Especially because I feel like we have a handful of leading roles. And I'm afraid we're going to get some like smaller roles that are going to be above this. And I'm just kind of going to be shaking my head. But when you have the 11-10 spot, that's the privilege, because no one's going to veto you at 11. So wonderful job.
I think it would be pretty cool if I used my single veto on the King at 11.
You wouldn't.
Hey, anything for England, you know? I just anything for England. I liked the movie the most out of all of us. I gave this movie 4 stars. Ben, you give it 3.5. Sophie, 2.5. I vibed with it. It's kind of slow and like maybe obviously exceptionally derivative of pretty much any period piece around this time. It does have a little House of Dragon kind of precursor going on with an actor in here as well, which is exciting. Lily Rose Depp jump scare at the end of The King. Incredible stuff. You love to see it. I think the cast is pretty lights out. I like what Michaud doing here for the direction of The King. This is, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is probably what like sparked Denis to be like, oh, let's do it. Because The King comes out in 2019. Dune Part 1 comes out in 2021. Maybe he was already cast. Maybe, we don't officially kind of know the timeline there, but this was really giving that for me. I would have it much higher.
You don't see enough beheaded kids in movies, and this gave us that. So
you're right.
I really think that's something you miss, Sophie, but that's just me.
Interesting. Sophie, anti-kid beheading. That's a weird take.
I stand by
Hot
that.
Hot take.
I stand by. I just, the whole time that I was watching this, every single time that Chalamet was talking to Sean Harris, I was just like, Mission Impossible, pretty good franchise. That's pretty much all that I was thinking about when he was on screen.
This cast really is solid. It's stacked. Like it's fantastic.
Shit. All right.
So I noticed you haven't typed it in the doc, so
I haven't, but I have now.
Okay.
I have now.
No vetoes happening.
Locked at 11. I'm not going to veto The King at 11, but let it be known, this is heresy. This is a crime against England. This is literally you have sent an assassin like France does. You've sent an assassin to this draft, and for that, we shall go to war.
Do you guys know what movies we're about to talk about? Like some of the best ever.
You just
The
beheaded
King,
a kid.
Bro, listen.
The King, it can be at 11.
I'm kind of bummed I didn't watch The King before we did last week's episode. Could have been a good talking point for Netflix.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
Someone
I'm
else
stoked.
doesn't.
The King first overall.
I'm stoked that we're on video now because everybody gets to see your eyebrows that you make at me whenever I make crazy claims.
I'm sorry. Hope everyone.
Yeah, The King overall pick, overall number 1. That would have been cool. Probably better than what I did. Okay. Sophie, let's go. Let's run it back.
All right. This pick is going, I fear it may be even more controversial. But in this particular film, I think the movie's fine, personally, but I think he's completely blown off the screen by everyone else in it. So for that, I think that Little Women should be at number 10.
Fuck off. Are you serious? That's insane.
What?
And I stand by that.
I could have sworn to you, if you would have told me 35 minutes ago that we were getting into this pod and Little Women would be a top 3, I'd be like, yeah, of course. Sophie's here. Why wouldn't it be? You rate Little Women this low?
I don't think you guys know about my Little Women take.
Give us the lore.
I don't
tell
think
us.
Well, it has to do with just how I was raised, and I was raised on Winona Ryder
Okay.
as Joe in Little Women and Christian Bale as Laurie. Like those, that's my casting that I look to, and those are my Little Women. And so when I watched this movie, I do think that Greta Gerwig improves upon the material in every way. But to me, the performances are just like fine. Um, which I know is it's a hot take. I know. I'm aware. But particularly I was so out on Florence Pugh for like many years because I hate her performance in this, which we're not talking, this isn't a Florence Pugh pod, but I just let it be known I think she's horrible in Little Women when she's acting
No.
like an 8-year-old.
Your name is on the schedule for the Florence Pugh draft next month. It's coming.
I like her now. I've turned around. It's just that perform. I just think she was miscast. But
top 10 MCU Florence Pugh moments is what we're gonna be doing.
Sure.
7 of them are gonna come
there.
from Thunderbolts.
I assume maybe this will get vetoed, but I just this would be my truth. So
Gotta live your truth.
A pod full of truths, we could say. Pod full of truths. Look, I watched Little Women for this pod, and I thought it was pretty sensational, pretty spectacular. I got roasted on Twitter because I was like, wow, guys, you didn't tell me how sad this movie is. And everybody was like, have you not fucking read the books? And I'm like, nope, I haven't. And I haven't seen any of the other movies. So this is all I knew. I didn't know anything going into this, and I thought it was great. I've had the meme of Chalamet saying, and I'll watch on my phone for years, and I get it now. And it's kind of fucked up that turned into a meme about movies because it's not very funny scene. So I don't know. Let's dialogue, Ben. I feel like we need to right the wrongs.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'll veto it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I thought so.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. I figured.
Huh. So that was just your truth. You just wanted to put
that really
out.
is
Okay.
like that's
Okay.
where I would put it if this were me. But I also did figure like it's I know that I am in the minority, so I figured this would happen. But now I don't.
Are you
really know
thinking?
where
You
to
thinking
go.
like Dune Part 2? Call Me by Your Name. Like what else do you want to put in the 10 spot that seems appropriate?
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Let me ask you a real question. Did you expect to get vetoed?
I figured maybe it might, but I only because I saw that you gave the film 5 stars when you watched it. But I'm curious, like, do you guys think like this is in his top 3 performances, like his performance as Laurie? Like, you think
That's not what we're
he's
doing
amazing?
here. We're not doing top 3 performances. Because otherwise the king would be in there, as you said.
Shout out to King! Let's go!
You said he was fantastic in it.
Yes. Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah. So
And then I said he's fantastic in a lot of things.
It really makes sense. Let's put a movie that he's fantastic in at 11 and then go to 10 and be like, he gets blown off the screen by everybody else, but it should be 10. That makes a lot of sense.
Because I knew that you guys would want it higher. I was collaborating.
with yourself.
That's veto baiting. That is not collaborating.
But do you guys think he's like sensational in Little Women?
For a not starring role, I think this is his best thing. Yeah.
Really?
In my opinion, yeah. For not being the lead.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say he's sensational in it, but I think there might be only one movie that I feel that way about. So maybe I'm a bad person to ask.
Okay.
It's really just kind of the draft of the mids here for me.
Okay. All right. Well.
Okay.
Wait, so now I'm confused. Like, are we doing performances or are we doing movies? Or are we doing a mix of both?
Follow your heart.
Hey, it's your way. Your way or the highway.
This is your pod.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're not on this show, I mean we cease to exist, so.
Yeah.
Okay, then in the number 10 slot, I'll pivot to the other Greta Gerwig movie and say Lady Bird at number 10. Because I think maybe, Ben, this is kind of a movie that you hinted at of like, yeah, he has a pretty small part and like he's good in it. Like it's good. But, you know, Saoirse Ronan is the star of that film, and like
For sure.
he has a very small part that's like interesting, but at the same time, like he's kind of playing like a very like quiet, cool boy, which like he kind of naturally is. So it's like, how much is he really doing? You know? Like obviously I'm glad he's in it and I'm glad he's someone who partners with Greta Gerwig, but that could have been another random guy, if we're being honest. So
who the fuck is on top for their first time? Yeah.
This is really good trajectory for The King, a movie that's just getting absolutely squashed in this conversation. We should have vetoed it, Ben.
It is kind of wild.
It's kind of sickening. It's like every word for you're just like, it could have been replaced. It's like he's the king. You know, the movie's named after him.
But the movie's not good. The movie's not good.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Okay. It is. But yeah, I think for the size of the role, like you said, like I think this kind of fits here. Obviously, really good movie. But he serves his purpose and then dips. So I think this is a great spot, except maybe 11. But you know, other than that, this is a really good spot.
Yeah, otherwise. Yeah, I agree. I think he's really this is a good spot for Lady Bird. The only thing that I did want to note here that I found fascinating, kind of going through his filmography, of course, works with Saoirse Ronan twice, Lady Bird and Little Women. Works with so far Zendaya twice, Dune Part 1, Part 2. Works with Elle Fanning twice, Complete Unknown, Rainy Day in New York. He kind of has this kind of keeps coming back to the same female co-stars, which is pretty interesting. Hasn't come back on Michael Monroe yet, unfortunately. What do we got to do to get Timothée Chalamet in a horror movie? Let's get him in a slasher. You think it'd be good?
You would have made Slice better, that's for sure.
Yeah, now that's a movie that could have improved with Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
what we should have been drafting. 11 movies that would be better with Chalamet.
With Timothée. Oh yeah,
I like
Sophie will be back for that.
Yeah.
All the different ways we can slice and dice Timothée Chalamet stardom.
Because she won't come back for our combined Florence Pugh, Tom Cruise draft, but that's okay.
Tough. Yeah.
Tough look.
We'll get to that. I'll actually I'll put it as something else on the doc and you'll show up and I'll just be like psych.
Surprise.
We're drafting Tom Cruise. It's all pop culture moments from Tom Cruise.
Oh man.
Okay. I've got 9 and 8. Can I just go can we just go with I'm a little nervous, nervous, I'm a little worried, but I guess you just did try to play Little Women at 10. So I've got really nothing to fear here. Let's play a movie that I think is quite poor, but I'm afraid I'm going to piss you guys off. And I'm not trying to bait you guys, you know?
Yeah, please don't.
Don't what?
I'm curious.
Don't bait or just live my truth.
No, I just feel like I know what you're about to do. If you think you're gonna piss me off.
No, I'm just. I mean, it is a collaborative draft. Just trying to look out for you guys. What do you think I'm gonna do if I'm gonna piss you off?
I don't know. Just do it.
9 spots. One of those is gonna be pop culture, so that's 8. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more definite movies that have to be here. Okay, let's play a movie that I think is quite poor, but I actually like Timothée Chalamet in this, and I think that he makes this movie better. Let's play Hot Summer Nights. How about that? Again, a movie that I think is not very good, but I love what Chalamet is doing in this movie, and I think that it is kind of transpiring before the Chalamet train really leaves the station. So he is not beholden to this, this kind of image of what he does become in the subsequent 5 years after Hot Summer Nights. Yeah, that's what we've done. That's what we've played here.
That was a movie we watched.
That movie is garbage.
He's not garbage, though.
Didn't we just say we're not doing movies? We're doing Timothée Chalamet. This is a Chalamet collaborative draft, is it not?
Yeah.
Are things not going your way, Sophie?
Like,
I mean, you're welcome to veto it. I have something else I could put here. This is why I said I didn't want to make you guys mad. I didn't want to be like trying to bait you guys into something, but like that legitimately, that's what I have in my spot on my list.
I'm confused what you have, like what movies you like. I've only seen 14 Timothée Chalamet movies, and it's so clear to me like what 4 shouldn't be on the list. And this is one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've only seen 13. Yeah, tell us the 4.
No.
Let's get collaborative.
That's not fun.
Fun for me, so I can make the right choice.
Like, I think, like, sure, like, yeah, it's before his rise, whatever. But, like, if we have the opportunities to put the movies where he's good in them.
I would have happily put The King at 9. Someone didn't allow me that opportunity.
Well, I didn't know you guys were going to want Hot Summer Nights on this list. Ben, do you like this movie?
It's entertaining. I remember, like,
Shams is good.
He's good.
Okay.
We had a great conversation over on 24 minutes of A24 about this.
Yeah, go check it out. So, yeah, this came out, I guess, just after. I wonder if they rushed it because of Call Me By Your Name success or something. It was like, let's get Hot Summer Nights out. Because this feels like it was filmed before Call Me By Your Name to me. But I think it's a good lead performance. I'm fine with it here. And again, like, I'm not going to veto you because then it might just go to 8. So,
yeah.
But Sophie's got a veto.
I will make a honest deal with you. If you veto this, it will not go to 8. If you veto this, it will end up off the board.
I think he's talking to you, Sophie.
I know.
When you have a veto,
but I'm scared that he's going to put like Don't Look Up on here instead. And it's like, then does it really matter? Like,
well, you'd be right.
2 shitty movies. Like,
okay. So let's do this. Let's get collaborative. So if you veto this at 9, I have 9 and 8. I will make a deal with you to not put Hot Summer Nights at 8. I won't just bump it up. And I will say, no, Don't Look Up. I will give you that concession. Even though I like that movie and I think his part is incredibly minuscule in it, I won't play it. I'm giving you 2 free spots on the board here.
So I'd rather Hot Summer Nights stay at 9, but you agree not to play Don't Look Up for the rest of the draft.
That's what a deal maker you are. What if we do it my way?
Yeah, you couldn't have it my way.
I just think, like, Don't Look Up is a movie he's in, and it's a movie that literally everyone in Hollywood is in. Like, it does not need to be on the Timothée Chalamet collaborative draft list. So
I know that's fine. All I'm saying is all you got to do is play one veto, and you don't get either of these movies on the board. Then we have a shot at a very good board. But you have to play your veto because I've played Hot Summer Nights at 9.
No, but you can. It's fine. You can have.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, the
I don't want to use my
and
veto.
Hot Summer Nights at 9. Okay, good.
Right.
I would have played Hot Summer Nights at 11 if I knew. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, maybe you should have.
The King's better than it? Interesting.
Yeah, I do think The King is better than Hot Summer Nights. I didn't think Hot Summer Nights was going to be a movie we talked about, if I'm being honest. So
I like Chalamet. I especially like the part when he is trying to pee and Mike Monroe won't stop making out with him. And I think that scene is horrendous and hilarious all at the same time.
Just so relatable.
So relatable.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Okay. So we've got a fascinating board that's shaking out here. 3 spots in. I've got 8. Can I tell you guys something? I don't feel equipped to play the pop culture role here. Is this something either of you feel comfortable playing later on? I'm not saying specifically at 8. I'm saying, like, in general, I won't be playing a pop culture moment for any of my spots.
Gotcha.
I'm not well versed enough.
yeah, I'm comfortable doing that.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, you guys are okay taking that on? All right. How mad would you be if I played A Rainy Day in New York at 8? I'm not gonna do it.
pissed.
But I'm curious. You know, I'm
Ethan,
curious.
don't even do that. I just got really scared.
Because you like it?
You played
or
Little
don't like
Women
it?
at 10. What are you talking about?
We don't
'cause
need
you
to be
love
talking
it?
about Woody Allen on this podcast.
You want a rainy day in New York at top 2?
Selena Gomez starring Woody Allen.
Yeah, big pro going to the Met, hanging out.
No.
Okay. God, I was really hoping to like play the king right around here, so I kind of got taken for a loop. Okay, people aren't gonna like me. People aren't gonna like me. What I have at 8 is what I'll be playing at 8, and that is, in fact, Dune Part 1. I'm gonna be putting Dune Part 1 at 8. I think it's a great entry point to his, kind of Paul Atreides arc, this new found version of Timothée Chalamet, what he can do, kind of the levity that he brings to a role like that. I don't think it's anywhere close to Dune Part 2, frankly, and I think it falls below a lot of other of his performances. But I think it's important to have Dune Part 1 on here to recognize that birth of that role of his.
I think it's a good call. I was considering it next, so for me, it works. It's a great performance, but I think Part 2 is better. I'd rather that be higher, but it feels like both should be on here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he's better in Dune Part 1 than in Little Women, but sure.
Speaking of, Ben, she didn't say anything about you playing Don't Look Up at 7. So if you want to like strike a side deal, if you want to go under the table here, anything's possible.
That's true. I do love Don't Look Up. So is it on me now?
Mm-hmm. You got 7.
So this throws me off. Like if I was lower, I'm going to pull an Ethan here and I'm going to try to be collaborative as much as I don't like doing this.
Yeah.
Is his role in Interstellar too small?
Too small.
Too small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Especially at 7. That was an 11 spot.
That's what I was thinking. If I was at the bottom, but okay. No, it's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just that movie's ass in general, but okay.
Yeah, I thought we don't put bad movies on this list. That was kind
That's
of like
true.
Okay.
That's
All right.
All right. So at number 7, I'm going to submit the 51-minute interview with Nardwuar that takes place at, I think it's called Vintage Records, something like that. I've watched a lot of Nardwuar, and Timmy is one of the first ones to meet Nardwuar at his energy level. Like he's there for a Nardwuar interview and he crushes it. And we've gotten like the meme from it of just like the confused face, for a sec. Like we got that. There's some funny stuff in here where like they're going around buying records. And then he asks like, wait, am I buying these? And Nardwuar's like, I mean, I guess we can help you. He's like, no, it's all right. Dune did okay. It's like, yeah, Dune did okay, man. You got money. So I love a Nardwuar interview. I love like the stuff that he's able to dig up. And like I said, Timmy just meets him there. Like a lot of mainly like the rappers are really confused about what he's able to find out. Timmy was as well a little bit, but he just met his energy and just made for such a fun watch. And 51 minutes is like an intense interview. That's a long time, but I stayed captivated the whole time. I know it's not like a singular, like one line pop culture moment or like something from SNL or anything, but if I had to pick something that wasn't a movie of Timmy's to watch, it would be this. So that's why I would submit this at number 7.
I love it. That's great. I think this is a perfect spot for a pop culture moment too. Like just a mid-range. Like I think for me, like I did watch that interview and I think he's hysterical. And I definitely wanted this moment to be something from the Complete Unknown press run because I think it was just like generational work. And I think the world really got to see like what his personality is like. And I think this interview is, a great representation of that. If I had to have picked the moment, I definitely would have done the SAG speech just because of what it did to me personally. And the amount of times I've watched it is like kind of insane. But I like this. And it gives me it gives me an excuse to talk more about the movies and time to talk about Nardwuar. So
perfect. I only have to talk about 2 movies now.
yeah.
Everybody wins. So I haven't seen this entire interview. This is what I was afraid of. I didn't have 51 minutes to watch this interview. I would have either chosen this or the SAG speech. So I am glad, Ben, that you chose this here. I think that this is the perfect spot. I think it's the perfect option. Like you said, Sophie, something from the Complete Unknown press tour that he just absolutely crushed for forever is important and is good. And this is exciting. So now I have to watch this whole thing. I think this is great. Great call, Ben.
It's so cool because I think it also shows his commitment to his craft, because they're pulling out old records from like people that influenced Dylan and old Dylan records. And like Timothy's able to talk about them at like such depths. Like you can tell he did the research for this role. And I watched this before I watched the movie. And as I was watching the movie, it made me appreciate it even more. It's like, oh, this guy like really cared. He put in the work. He knows all this stuff. So I think it's just a great watch overall.
I love it. Is this not a fashionable position for maybe a good pairing here? Pop culture movement with the movie that it supports? Perhaps.
Oh, wow.
Sophie?
Oh, you're trying to influence my picks now, huh?
Oh, dang.
Just curious where you might be landing for number 6.
No, number 6, we're going back to Miss Greta Gerwig's Little Women.
Huh. Wow. Get stuck in. Okay.
What if I vetoed this all the way to 3? Or you wouldn't play it at 3?
That'd be sick.
No, I guess not.
But I could play it at 1.
I don't know.
I mean, I think it should be on here. Like we'll get murdered at the stake if it's not on here, but I can't have it any
There's
higher.
no we. There's no we in this conversation.
Okay. I don't want it any higher than 6, so I would like to play it here.
Okay. So you want to play Little Women at 6. Can we move Hot Summer Nights to 11 and The King to 9, and then I'll let you play Little Women at 6? Can we do a little shuffle?
Absolutely.
Wow. You're pro breaking the rules?
I would absolutely allow that.
Wow.
As long as it suits
Collusion.
you, As long as Sophie wins, breaks the law.
Whatever she wants.
Whatever works for her.
I mean,
look.
I don't know what else there's to say about it. It's a great supporting role. I'm not gonna bump it up at this point because I'm afraid it won't get played. So I'm not gonna veto it, but I'm glad it's here. A little low, but I'm glad it's here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna veto it either. But I think, Ben, you said something important, that it is in fact like a supporting role. There are a lot of movies with him at the forefront, and we're getting into the top 5. So I can see a little bit of what we're doing here and why it's important to put it outside of this top 5 range. Okay, so that brings me to number 5. What shall we do?
I think it's pretty clear what the remaining 5 are. Do you guys agree, or do you think?
I think I know what the movies are. I don't know the order that you guys have them in.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I should have saved Hot Summer Nights. It could have been Don't Look Up, Hot Summer Nights, Rainy Day in New York. Like, we could have had just fucking bangers. 1, 2, 3,
right there.
Right there. Call it. Interstellar, cap it. Okay. That would be a reverse collaborative draft. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Best
to worst.
That'd be amazing.
Ooh, wow, that's an idea.
Okay, number 5. I think it's time to maybe just think for a moment if we could enjoy a little Chuckpocalypse. I'm going to put Wonka at 5. And now listen, I'm not trying to like play it low. Wonka at 5, if we would have had this draft even 6 weeks ago, I am trying vehemently to keep Wonka off the board.
What are you talking about? That's 1 week ago.
What do you mean? 1 week ago?
Like you watched it within the last week.
You
right?
literally watched it last
yesterday.
Night.
Yeah.
So 1
I know,
week
I'm
ago
saying
you would have.
That's true. 1 week ago. 6 days ago. Whatever have you. That's true. So if this draft did not transpire at this time, I would have been a different person. I have seen the light that is full of magic, and that magic is coated in chocolate. I don't like to abandon the bit that I've withheld, to myself for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I don't really know where to go. I feel like I am taking to social media to, embark on a quest of apologies. Of like, hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for my actions, and I promise to do better moving forward. There's a couple people that I do want to personally apologize to.
Will you make a Notes app apology and just post it on your Twitter? It's just like all the celebrities who get caught doing shit.
Yeah, actually, I will do that. When this episode drops, I will quote tweet with my Notes apology.
Perfect.
I will, in fact.
I can't wait.
I really think just like I would apologize to Jonathan Fuji, but he called me out on the Trivia 10, and I felt personally hurt by that. So I have therefore rescinded my Wonka apology.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think there's anybody else personally that I should be addressing, but
let's hear it.
Wonka's pretty good. Wonka's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's not great.
it is.
Like, listen. It's not great. Okay, but I did bump it up from 2 stars to 4 stars.
5
wow.
stars. Flip.
Oh
Flip.
no. It's not what I
That's
meant.
what
I swear.
Really meant.
Flipping it.
It's not what I. It's like the clip, where it's like, oh, this person does this on a live stream. So I gave Wonka 4 stars. There are a lot of things that I still like pretty don't like about Wonka, but I think the silly factor from Chalamet to do this and not only do it, but do it at the right time in his career to cement him as like a Hollywood man, I think is really important. I couldn't stand it the first time that I watched it, and then I watched it with my daughter, my 6.5-year-old daughter, during working hours yesterday, and I just think all the pieces were right. I was putting off work, was hanging out with my daughter, little one-on-one daddy-daughter time, and Wonka's pretty good.
Ethan, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thanks.
I am going to veto it though.
Have to do it.
I have to because there's no other time to use it. Like I have to. Even if Ben plays it at 4, like at least it's at 4, like that's fine.
Yeah.
4
I'm
to
not
5 to 4, that
but...
big of a difference?
Like what else am I going to use it on? Like I think we're all pretty much in agreement what the last 5 movies are, unless you guys are going to pull something crazy on me.
I don't. I only see 4. I'm curious what
Ethan's list is like.
It's always me. It's always me that doesn't know.
So
I
fucking poured my heart out to you about how great Wonka is, and you're like,
no, I know. It deserves to be higher, in my opinion. There's not many people who could pull that performance off. It's kind of him. It's kind of just him. Remember when people wanted Jeremy Allen White to do that?
Oh, yeah, just because he looked like Gene Wilder?
Yeah, like, what are we talking about? Timothée Chalamet is the only person who could have pulled that off.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my chocolate factory. Yes. That would have been awesome.
So you're saying Johnny Depp didn't do it any service? That's what I'm hearing?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's what you're hearing.
Good movie.
Yeah, Wonka's pretty good. Shoot. That fucking sucks to say out loud. Okay. 5. 1, 2, 3. So I know what 3 of the movies are. I know what 4 of the movies are. I'm concerned about the 5th because I don't really care for it. But I guess I'll just play what I have in, I guess what would be next on my personal list. I'm going to put A Complete Unknown here at number 5. A movie that I think is like not as good as it should be at all, but a movie that I can get behind and I can respect for what he did for Dylan and what he did for his performance. And again, like kind of the flip side of Wonka, a movie that like he dedicates himself to so wholeheartedly that you just can't help but basically be like, you love to act. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Like I get it. Again, a movie that I thought was pretty underwhelming, but I think for the performance, again, very clearly what we're trying to accomplish here, performance versus movie. I'm going to put it at 5.
Yeah, I like that. I think I agree with everything you said. Like I think if I had just gone into the movie without having experienced the press tour, I would have been like, "Oh yeah, that was a fine movie and his performance was good." But because I knew how much passion he had and like I always think about I who knows if this is true, like he could totally have been lying about this, but he said he like didn't have a cell phone the entire time he filmed this cuz he really wanted to
Yeah.
like be in the Bob Dylan headspace, and that's just something that I appreciate. And I can see his passion jumping off the screen. So I think that's what holds the
Mhm.
movie together because the movie for me is just fine.
There's a movie I haven't seen that I feel like should be in this spot.
Mhm. This
So,
is what I
yeah.
was saying as the movie that I don't like that I think should be in this spot. Not a complete unknown. Different movie.
Okay, well, let's find out what it is. I'm gonna veto it.
Oh,
Whoa. Okay.
what? I mean, that gives me so much power, Ben. I don't have to play that movie.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Boyd Holbrook in Complete Unknown as Johnny Cash was pretty cool. I think we should get the Boyd Holbrook spinoff.
Yeah.
That's my take. Oh, that'd be cool to play the King here, really. I just keep looking at my board and I'm just like, man, the King, good movie. Can you tell me the movie that you're talking about?
Bones and All.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm fearful. Oh, are we out on Bones and All?
No. Oh wow. I'm very confused.
Hold on. Okay. You got to talk us through this, Sophie.
Okay, let's
if we
be
don't do it your
collaborative.
way.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
like a top 3 for you?
Okay, listen. I love Bones and All, like one of my favorite movies ever. But honestly, I assumed that it wouldn't make the list. So that was not a movie that I was accounting for.
What movie do you have in your fifth spot?
What are you talking about for like a cemented 5? I'm trying to come up with that.
I feel like, should I just say it?
We've talked about 3 of them. We talked about A Complete Unknown. We talked about Wonka. We talked about Dune Part 2. There's another one that was arguably like his debut leading role. Beautiful
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
And then
what's the 5th? What's the 5th?
Fifth?
Just say
the
it.
5th is A Beautiful Boy.
Oh, see, this is interesting.
Oh.
I didn't have time to revisit this film. I watched it one time, maybe like 10 years ago on a plane. So
Or just Beautiful Boy. Drop the people. So this isn't a movie I have a big connection to, but in the culture, me saying the culture every episode, he like this is like one of his great performances because he's playing someone who's like really struggling and is really successful at it. And honestly, I thought that was going to be one of the remaining films.
Okay.
Like I love
Okay,
Bones
so-
and All. I think is a much better movie, like much better. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess now we're down to our like rule that's not a rule of like
Yeah,
putting up movies that we haven't seen.
yeah.
Because either Ethan
Well, that
plays
doesn't
Bones
need
and All
to be
here.
played. Like Bones and All, that's fine with me. I really was like counting it out completely because I didn't
Oh,
think.
gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think people liked it as much as me.
I didn't like Bones and All when I saw it. I haven't revisited it, and I did not revisit it for this draft. So I've withheld my thoughts on that. I know Mark Rylance is a pretty good freak in that movie. So in theory, what you're positing that I do here is basically submit my number 8 pick to you, which would have been Don't Look Up, and you wiggled your way out of that. You played The King at 11, and now the 2 movies that I just put at 5 have disappeared, and you want me to play a movie I haven't seen.
No, I don't. You don't have to do that.
What else am I going to play, Sophie?
You can play.
It's either Bones and All or Beautiful Boy. I actively like am pretty cold on Bones and All, and I would much rather play Beautiful Boy just because I have some semblance of like what it was that I was watching so long ago, but I didn't, I haven't seen it in like this era of my movie watching. But I do love a good Steve Carell serious role. Shout out The Big Short. Maybe we just play Don't Look Up here. Speaking of Adam McKay.
Bring it all around.
Full circle. Come on, guys.
You just
kinda
nominate
fucked
Beautiful
me.
Boy and
Both
clear
of
the
you
lane.
fucked me. All right, whatever. I'll play Beautiful Boy at 5. I have nothing to say about it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I do remember his performance being incredibly affecting because he is someone who's like a drug addict, and that's a hard thing to pull off, and he does it really well. Yeah, I'm due for a rewatch for sure. But I know there's people out there that will appreciate this being high up on our list.
Okay. Do you think this will earn me some good graces with the people? The culture,
I do.
as you so put it?
Okay. I do.
Oh, Ethan bowed down to the queen that is Sophie, and for that he shall be rewarded. All right. Ben, you've got spot number 4.
Okay. Locked in 4. We know what they are, right?
I kind of wanted to have a little fun with my veto. I got one veto. I didn't even get to use it.
Well, let's see what I play. If you
you don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Man, it's just like 4 really good performances. And I'm gonna nominate the thing I would watch last, I think, out of all these. And that's Dune Part 2. Like, good job. That was great. You did it in the first one. You rode a sandworm. That was cool.
I don't think this is right.
No, I don't think this is right either.
You don't think this is right?
No.
I don't.
I think Javier Bardem is doing a lot of lifting here for Timmy.
Give me your best, Sophie. Give me your best Lisan El Gaid. Give it to me. Go.
No.
Let's see it.
But wow, I'm like kind of shocked that that's how you really feel, Ben. Like, I think the Part 1 and Part 2 performances are so different.
Vastly different.
Yeah. Like,
he's been fantastic in a lot of stuff. What can I say?
Okay.
Don't
put my words on me.
He really has.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think Dune Part 2 goes here, so I'm going to veto you, Ben.
Okay.
I'm just a little fearful.
Because, he's got the number 1 pick.
I'm surprised Sophie didn't override a complete unknown veto. I thought for sure she was going to override.
I'm surprised too. That was the time to do it. Save the board. She forgot she had an override.
No, I didn't.
You definitely forgot.
No, I did not.
Okay.
All right. So Dune's out.
Yeah, Dune Part 2 is out.
Sophie, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for Wonka to show up.
Yeah. No worries. No apologies necessary.
That's
you just veto it though, right? Where do you want it? Ideally, where would you put it on your own list?
Yeah, how should these 4? Let's get them right.
I'd probably put it at 3.
Okay.
But the people know where I stand. So if it's at 4, it's at 4.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my feelings on Dune are out there. I love what he did with A Complete Unknown. I feel like he really got into it, and Call Me by Your Name is just, I think it's an amazing performance, and Wonka, again, a fantastic performance. Mm-hmm. But yeah, out of the 4, I don't know. I guess this is just what's going to go here. Impossible shoes to fill with Gene Wilder. And I think they went far enough away from it that it didn't feel like he was trying to reimagine or recreate that character. It was like a reimagination of the character, which was very cool. A solid cast around him as well, which they all do fantastic. So I like Wonka. I'm glad Ethan kind of came around on it finally. I think we're all better for it now. So yeah, Wonka 4.
Yeah, I feel like I've entered a new era of understanding and acceptance. I think a lot of people on my letterbox, namely you, Sophie, the person that commented 3 separate times, felt very similar. Yeah, look, I think there's good stuff in Wonka. I think there's good stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It just puts a smile on my face, it's just one of those movies where it's silly, but it's also smart and well made and well acted. And, it's a good bit, but also truly Wonka is very special to me. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. During the Sweet Tooth song that takes place, which I really came around on this viewing, which I thought was abhorrent the first time I saw it, and I grinned the whole time this time. My daughter asked what was a sweet tooth because she didn't know that phrase, and I described it, and her immediate reaction, she lit up with joy and said, "I have a sweet tooth." I said, "Yes, don't we all? Don't we all?"
We're aware.
Okay, 1 good 4. 1 good 4. Huh. Got 3 movies to go.
We do.
And no more vetoes.
Yeah. Just straight playing here.
Oh, yeah. Ben, you used your second one on me. Huh. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, the veto override.
Honest.
Famously elusive.
Yeah. It's okay. It's looking pretty good to me. At number 3, I'm going to put forth A Complete Unknown. Again, we've spoken on it, but I think like I wanted him to win the Oscar just because it would have been a fun moment. But at the same time, I'm kind of thankful that he didn't, because I would love for his first Oscar to be for a movie that I feel is truly great. And I don't think that A Complete Unknown is that movie, even though I think he's great in it.
Is that going to be Marty Supreme, you think?
We'll
First
see.
great movie
I
of
hope
Chalamet's
so.
career?
That'd be awesome.
Be sick.
Just watch Marty Supreme run the board next year. Best director.
Yeah, we'll see.
Best everything. Best
Battle of the
costumes.
Safdies, who knows?
Could be. Yeah. The old biopic battle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is great. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I think watching the Nardwuar thing increased my appreciation for A Complete Unknown. I don't know how I would feel about it if I had not watched Nardwuar, but I can't unwatch that. So I really enjoyed his performance here. I think they did a good job. Yeah, top 3. Cool.
Top 3. I feel like that's where it should be. Nominated for an Academy Award. That's sounds like a top 3 type situation. Okay, I've got 2. So realistically, we could play Don't Look Up. We could play A Rainy Day in New York. I don't know where you guys are, where your allegiances lie.
Whatever you don't play, I will. So
have you either of you seen A Rainy Day in New York?
No,
I never will.
It's fucking terrible. Don't watch it. It's a bad movie.
We actually have not yet uttered the phrase "the French Dispatch." Just want to put that out there.
Which I think is a good. Come on.
Which I think is a good movie, and personally, it would be in my top 11 if I had one. He has great hair in it.
Batsa, right? Isn't that like his part?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was trying to watch it today, and I did not get around to it. That was going to be like my last ditch effort for this draft. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. At number 2, I will be playing Dune Part 2, a movie that I think is quite good. A movie that I actually don't like as much as other people, but that is, we're talking about like people that glorify Dune Part 2 and worship Dune Part 2. I'm like 4.5 stars. Movie fucking rocks. I'm just not quite at that level. But I think his performance in this compared to Dune Part 1 leagues ahead of where he was in the opening movie. Obviously, especially the speech that he gives, how commanding he is. And really like how bolstering his, I guess his auditory presence is. I know, which is like silly to say because the movie is, used the voice and like, I get that, but like he is Paul Atreides for the way that he speaks. And I think that's important to note. So Dune Part 2.
Love it.
Yep.
Cool.
I was going to be bummed if it was number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're all on the same page.
I mean, I would have been, maybe you guys would have been stoked, but I'm just, yeah.
No, couldn't have been number 1.
Agreed.
Well, I guess we know what number 1 is.
It's the Adderall.
Hostiles.
Hostiles.
Yeah, obviously it's Call Me By Your Name. Luca just directing the hell out of this movie. Hey, Army Hammer draft win. Am I right? Let's come on. The Army Hammer Woody Allen draft, combo draft. Let's make it happen.
Let's do the Army Hammer Woody Allen Kevin Spacey trifecta draft.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
Oh jeez,
easy to fill 13 there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he's fantastic. He's amazing in this. I think this is one of the first things I think I really saw him in, and like what I remember from this movie is the Michael Stuhlbarg like speech, you know, at the end,
So
like
good.
that's beautiful. It's so well written, but the chemistry between Armie Hammer and Chalamet feels very palpable. Like I believe it all, and what he's going through throughout the film. We see his sick dance moves. We know he's got the moves, which is fantastic. So, for me, this was the number one the whole time. So I'm glad that it's here. And I think this is, as of right now, the most representative of like Chalamet in his career. Like this is what I think of when I think of him.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement here, but I think this is the movie that really, it introduced a lot of us to Timothée Chalamet, and it also, I feel like, just kind of shows his range and like full range of emotion, because we see him like falling in love with someone, becoming infatuated, like being heartbroken. Like it's just, we get to see a lot of Timothy and what he can do, and I think, it's just very representative of him, and it's a great movie on top of that.
Yeah, I mentioned at the top of the pod kind of the Swiss Army knife kind of era that we're entering with Chalamet, and of course now Marty Supreme coming out later this year, doing another biopic, but much less of a caliber, I guess you could say, than Bob Dylan. I think this is the movie, like you guys said, that kind of displays all of the things that he can do the very best. I watched this movie for the first time for this draft. People had been writing me for so long. Could not believe I had not seen this movie. Same with Little Women. People couldn't believe it. So I've done it. I've completed the Timothée Chalamet double bill. This movie is as good as everybody says it is. Pretty damning stuff. And I wonder if there is, as is the case with many of Luca's kind of muses, I wonder if there's something that Luca can get out of Timothy that not a lot of other people can. Maybe nobody else can, that we get to see on display here in Call Me By Your Name. Beautiful movie. It's gorgeous stuff.
Yeah.
All the way
really
around.
is.
Yeah. Jeez.
I just want to go ride bikes around there. Like it's so pretty.
I will say I couldn't help but think of Luca when I was watching this movie. I was just like, oh, these movies are very much in conversation with each other. Luca obviously a little bit less forward on the on the relationship aspect,
yes,
but
a little less.
Look, it is very similar. Like we get endings that are pretty similar in Call Me By Your Name and Luca. Like they have to say goodbye, and they might have had a bigger friendship than they realized, or bigger relationship than they both realized. Okay, Call Me By Your Name at number 1. We have completed the Timothée Chalamet collaborative draft here on the Movie Draft Podcast. Let's run through this real quick and maybe hash out anything that we might need to get off of our chests. At 11, Sophie played a really good movie called The King. That is at number 11 to start our draft. And then at number 10, Sophie again played a pretty good movie, Lady Bird, at number 10. So those were the 2 starters. At number 9, Hot Summer Nights. At number 8, Dune Part 1. Number 7, we played the first ever pop culture moment here on a collaborative draft. We chose the Nardwuar versus Timothée Chalamet 51-minute interview. Number 6 was Little Women. Number 5, Beautiful Boy. Number 4, Wonka. Number 3, A Complete Unknown. Number 2, Dune Part 2. And number 1, Call Me By Your Name. I kind of really love our top 4, and I think it's great.
I think it turned out, as I'm looking at this, it's kind of humorous to me because it feels like Sophie played defense the whole time. Like her 4 movies are 4 that she's not super stoked on at all. Yeah. And then mine are like 2 of my favorite movies of his. And then like this interview that goes off the rails for an hour. Like that's all I talked about. So I love how different the approach was on this. It's like, let's play The King here so you guys don't fucking talk about it later on. Like, let's just play it here. Like, okay, that's how we're kicking this off. I like that. Got it.
Yeah. A draft of defense, you could say. Yeah. I mean, I got screwed on 5. You guys played a movie I can't even talk about. I don't even know. It's kind of rude.
Could have played Don't Look Up.
Yeah, we weren't forcing you to do anything.
Okay, yeah. You say after the draft is complete and everything's written in stone. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, do you guys feel good about the exercise we've done here? Sophie, most importantly, do you feel like we've represented Timothée Chalamet in a positive light?
I do. I think Hot Summer Nights is the one thing that's throwing this off for me. Like if we
like
just
it's too low.
Yeah, like
if we just like insert Bones and all right there, I think this list is really great.
So I hear you, I want you to know that I hear you. I've accepted those words and I've processed them.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of like Hot Summer Nights there. I know I played it, but like I kind of like it there because it gives it a little spice. You know, it's not just like we're not just doing the Chalamet things. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people have seen Hot Summer Nights. But I don't think we were ever really clear on that. I don't think we ever really decided what the goal was.
I think that the interview gives it the spice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if we really needed Hot Summer Nights, but that's okay. I'm potting with the A24 guys. I should have known.
Well,
just count your blessings. I didn't play Don't Look Up.
I'm very thankful. I really am.
Save you on that one. Okay, we've done it. Timothée Chalamet. Who's the next actor that we should collaboratively draft? What do you guys think? I mean, I've got someone on the schedule, but
I've been begging for Meryl for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what you've also been doing for a while?
What?
Saying that Meryl has too many movies and we don't have enough time to watch them. So we need to push out the Meryl draft.
That's maybe true, but I did start my prep like 6 months ago. So
nice.
Okay, Meryl. We could do Meryl. Speaking of,
have we done a female? Like, I don't think we have.
A female, just in general, but you don't think we've done a collaborative draft for a female actor?
No.
This podcast that you are a part of hates women? Is that what you just said?
Roll the tape back.
Hold on. Women's Month.
Let's quickly realize this because this is a little startling. So, collabs. Here's what we've done: Tarantino, Spider-Man movies, Christopher Nolan, Jake Gyllenhaal. We're off to a real good start.
Looking real broy.
2010's directorial debuts. That was fun. Ryan Gosling, Star Wars, Best Actress nominees of the 2010s.
Okay.
Look at that. We didn't just do one woman. We did 13 of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have Pixar movies, MCU. We had the two-parter Vegas movies, Alien franchise, Prometheus.
Remember that?
That was a good time, Sophie. We were really trying to hurt us. That was a good old two-person pod. We did The Wizarding World. We did Batman, A24 Horror, Tom Hanks. Do you have your Hanks list?
No, not on me.
Still waiting on it. Is he going to be on there? Who knows?
Will not collaboratively draft a woman until we have the Tom Hanks list. You're holding this one up.
Fine.
Musicals and X-Men. And Miyazaki and 2025 Best Picture nominees. So, and Harrison Ford. So, yeah. Haven't done a specific actress, I guess you could say. It's fair. You want Meryl to be the first?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Let's do it. We're going to put Meryl on the list. Ben, who do you want? You're still pro Woody Allen collaborative.
Yeah, I still want the Armie Hammer collab. I want us to just talk about The Social Network and Call Me by Your Name for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, man, you keep riding for that movie. Speaking of Social Network, might be something on the list later this month. Little tease might be talking about a draft in which that is applicable or can be drafted. We have a really good month scheduled here, so that's really exciting. Okay, guys, thank you so much for drafting. I really appreciate it, and I think everybody should go watch The King. That's my one takeaway from this draft. Good movie.
Do it.
My takeaway is Wonka is for everyone, and if you give it another chance, it can heal you.
Yeah, I skirted the topic earlier. I do just want to offer a sincere apology to you, Sophie. I was out of line. I was out of line. A lot. What can I say?
No, it was a fun game we played for a while, but I'm glad it's over.
Now everyone knows.
Yeah, everybody knows it was a bit. Unfortunately, I've seen the light. It sucks, but it is what it is. Ben, thanks for co-hosting with me. It was a blast.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Movie Draft Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We're also now on YouTube with video. So go subscribe to us over there at the Movie Draft Podcast and check out our video podcast. You can see Sophie's eyebrows when she's mad at me. It's really great and a lot of fun. New episodes of the Movie Draft Podcast will be released weekly on Tuesdays. We'll see you then.